on the Dane by Local community channel. And this is the part that I always forget. So I have to do this. Remember to subscribe to the new Dane by Local community channel. If you are watching this video, hit that subscribe button, or you can see it pop up at the end of the video, and that will also take place for you. The other thing with that is we want comments. We want you to like and comment and do all those things on here too. So please feel free to do that. We would certainly appreciate it. This channel is for our community. So it's for you. It's helping our Dane by Local members get word out to you about a number of different resources, what they offer, what they do in the community, how they can help you, but also just for you to find more information locally that's trusted, and that you can count on. And that's what the whole point is. So there's that. Um, I always forget the self-promotion part, right? I forget that part. I'm not very good at it. As
We're
Amanda
humble
knows.
people. We're humble people.
Amanda's waiting in the wings here. I do have to get this out of the way now. Again, I am a board member for Dane by the Local, volunteer. I'm not a staff member. So any opinions given on this are my own, not necessarily Dane by Local's position. Amanda, the same thing. If she's joining me today, any of the guests, that's their perspective, their opinion, if we give any opinions, but mostly we're just trying to share good info with you. So now I will bring in Amanda Metcalfe of Metcalfe's Markets. Amanda, thank you so much for taking time to talk to us today.
Yeah, you bet. I'm glad to be a part of these, Jason.
So Amanda, tell me a little bit, first off, as we're talking about this health crisis that's going on and everything that has changed for everybody, but in the grocery industry, which your family business for more than 100 years has been, what has this been like for you?
Christmas Eve every single day. It's been just nuts. So, I mean, I'm super thankful. My dad was like, he had his finger on this right from the beginning. He had emailed out to the team early in, I want to say, early March about like, hey, we're seeing this, events are starting to talk about this. This is something we need to start looking at in early March, before it was really on like the radars of businesses and stuff like that, I want to say, specifically in our area, maybe in other areas, but yeah, it came in fast and furious, I want to say, once the public health emergency was announced. We had already been meeting as a team weekly. We ended up moving that to daily talks, just to stay on top of all the changes. But I mean, we saw just huge increase, unprecedented increases once that order kind of came into effect in the stores, and you saw other businesses closing down and stuff like that. I mean, lines out the door, or lines of people waiting at 6 a.m. And then lines from the front end all the way back to the back of the store, like worse than I've ever seen at during any of the holiday weeks. So lots of volume, and then all these changes coming in daily. Just really hard to manage, but we've had a really great team of smart people, and our teams have been executing. I'm just super proud of everybody, so thankful for them.
Yeah, I mean, I think just that position to be in, where there's a lot of uncertainty, there's a lot of panic, there's a lot from the public, and so then they're trying to, not knowing what's coming next. They're all trying to get those essential things, and all at the same time, and all in a hurry, like you said, and that I think could be pretty overwhelming. But luckily, you guys at least had some foresight there, and were somewhat prepared for it, as prepared as you could be.
Yeah.
But how is that? That situation now seems to have kind of stabilized a bit. Like people are more okay. This is where we are now.
Yep.
Everyone's not rushing at the same time. We're understanding some of the things we need to do to be safe. How have you seen it kind of evolve and change in the last month or so?
Yeah, I mean, initially, with the panic and the rush of everyone coming in, I mean, grocery stores and retail stores in the food industry all over the place. I mean, you were seeing the videos on empty aisles as people were scanning. I mean, we experienced all that too. A lot of businesses started to put limits on things, just so that there would be enough for everyone. I mean, toilet paper obviously was one of the biggies. Ended up kind of really going to anything in paper, all the paper products, Clorox wipes, cleaning supplies, Tylenol eventually became one of those things too, that it's still pretty difficult to get in. All of those things we've still continued to struggle to get in. Food has been a lot easier. I mean, initially there was a big demand, that kind of wiped out a lot of resources, from like our wholesalers and things like that, where we started getting allotments. So we'd order 3,000 pieces and get 1,000 pieces. So we would be ordering things, and our warehouses would just give us an allotment. So they'd give some to this store, some to this store, some to this store. So everyone got something, but definitely not what we were ordering. So that we've seen that start to calm down. But what we are seeing is people are doing a lot of baking. So like yeast and vanilla extract and things like that, which is nice to see that people are like cooking and dealing with things in that way that that makes me happy, but it's hard to find. It can be hard to find those things. So yeah, food has stabilized, especially our local products. And I think my dad's been doing some Facebook Lives, for those of you following that, really highlighting kind of the supply issues we've been experiencing and the allotment issues that we've been getting. The national brands, are getting allotted, even still sometimes, but our local brands are able to provide those products because they're very close. They don't have to provide nationwide; they just have to provide locally. So the great thing is that we've having so many local products already in the stores, we've been able to have products on the shelves and be pretty well stocked because of that, which we're so thankful for those people. So that's been helpful. But yeah, it's still kind of a struggle for toilet paper. We did get a load in the other day. I saw a picture of it. Or I think it was earlier this morning we got some in. So yeah.
That's interesting to think that was one of the first things people were gravitating toward. But either way, what we've hopefully a lot of things are in a better spot. You mentioned before just kind of trying to take some of the bright spots out of this, and you mentioned the baking. I mean, that's one thing that I've experienced, and a lot of us have, I'm sure, is we've had more time with our family during this, or more time within your family unit, at least within your household. And because of that, you get to do some of those things that we probably didn't always have the time to do before. So if you're looking for at least a little bit of a silver lining here, there it is. I mean, my kids might not agree. Maybe they think, well, I wish you were at work more, but who knows?
Dogs too, I'm sure.
Yeah, the dogs are very confused. They're like, wait a minute, I'm used to taking a 4-hour nap. Why are you people moving around in here and making noise all the time? But anyway, it's there've been some pluses that way. I see a lot of families out for walks, things like that. I mean, that's
throwing baseballs and stuff. That kind of stuff warms your heart. That's the little silver lining in this, for sure. So
yeah, cherish that time. And during this, we're in our forced slowdown for a lot of us. Okay, so but in your industry, you were not necessarily able to slow down. You guys are an essential business. Food is an essential need for all of us, right? And with a lot of adjustments to restaurants and other things, and what they can provide and what they can't, and where people get their food, it's really put a big spotlight on our food providers like Metcalfe's Market. And I'm amazed at what the people in the grocery industry have done to step up to this. But it's also shown a lot of us, if you haven't gotten a lot of kudos and a lot of respect, it's shown people how important your industry is.
Yeah, we've had to be very nimble and react quickly. The nice thing is that grocers, we do have a great network of, so the Wisconsin Grocers Association has been a great resource and communication for best practices. We're also part of the National Grocers Association. Me in particular, I'm part of a HR share group that has been invaluable in kind of seeing what other counties and states have had happen, or what they were putting into place to protect their employees or to protect the public. So being able to share those ideas and see what they were doing in Louisiana and Ohio and on the East Coast before it necessarily hit Wisconsin was invaluable. And a lot of the people on my team have those connections because we're part of those associations. So that was invaluable to be able to help predict what might be coming next. We kind of knew we might have a shelter in place or a safer at home order coming because we had seen that in other places, and grocers were sharing how they had reacted to that. So that was super helpful. But yeah, we haven't been able to slow down. So as happy that I am that we have jobs and work, because I know a lot of people don't. That has been such a struggle. We have no downtime. So we did close for Easter, which is not usually don't usually do that, just so that we could give everybody a breather. Some of the other things that we had to do just to help relieve our staff from constant, the constant influx with, you had mentioned a lot of the, other food resources that people have on a normal basis closing. All of that demand has now been thrown onto grocers and then those restaurants who are able to still do pickup, curbside pickup and those kinds of things. So, the initial demand was crazy, but it's continuing. So yeah, a lot of us hadn't had a day off till Easter.
Wow.
So we were super thankful for that. And our teams have been amazing. So to help them, some of the things we've done are, as I'm sure if you've been following Metcalfe's, you've seen, and a lot of other grocers have done this too, and retail establishments, is limit our hours to give our teams a break and to stock. So we have some time to do that. We also had, it's a frontline, it's not necessarily what the doctors and nurses and first responders are experiencing, but you're out there in the public. So we also had a lot of people who just didn't feel safe and took leaves of absences and things like that to shelter in place. So we also had reduction in staff with increased demand. So trying to manage some of that, we had to finagle our hours around. Our teams have been go.
It's, any of these situations, there's going to be stresses shifted for something like this. And so we've seen that in the medical community, the basics, right? The essentials, the medical community, food, and then other, even the housing currently as well. There've been a lot of strains there. So, but you're an essential, food is essential to life. So, and we've gotten accustomed to the society where, there's fewer and fewer people that are managing their own food and get it other places. And that's what you guys are so important for. So we appreciate that a ton. But we do also appreciate the strain that it's put on you and your business, and then of course other grocers too. So, thank you from myself, as a collective, from the community, for everything you guys do. One thing I wanted to say is you have done such a wonderful job with your dad and others communicating with the public about what you're doing. Hey, we're incorporating these safety measures, and here's what we're up to at Metcalfe's, and how we're adjusting and trying to keep things safe for our team, safe for you as customers. How important was that to you? Because not everybody's been that vocal in the community about what, updating people what they're doing. Why did you guys feel that was so important to do?
A sense of safety. We wanted to create a sense of safety for the community, for our people, and to help create a sense of calm. I think there's a, initially too, there was a lot of panic, hoarding of supplies, and things like that. I think we called it in our group and with our team, doctors have bedside manner and we have food side manner. So we need to remain calm, show people, I think what I love about what my dad's doing with his videos in the morning is there's a lot of people who may not have been out to the grocery store and who have tried to rely on delivery, and things like that, and have found that delivery has not been, that has also seen just an increase and has not been able to keep up. So they're being forced to go to the grocery store and just to get supplies. And so being able to see what that looks like and see that we're stocked and have somebody talk so calmly, and openly, and transparently about what we're doing to make this a safe environment for people who need to go out, and for people who are maybe high risk and need to go out. So, we've added hours in the morning, for those who are high risk to shop, just to have, as a lot of people have also done, just to have a special time for them to feel, and be able to socially distance, where it's kind of just for them. And the great thing is it's not something that we are policing, because how do you know if somebody's high risk? There's so many different things that, it's not something that we're policing, but the community seems to be respecting. And I think that, talking about those things, so being very vocal about why we're doing it and why it's so important, just really helps people think about their neighbor, when it comes to limiting what they're getting, limiting supplies, not over purchasing. Something else that we've, social distancing is so important. So, talking about trying to shop alone, or one person, one cart, is what we've tried to ask people to do. Obviously, that's not always, something that somebody can do based on their situation. You can't leave your kid in the car, if you don't have care. So, we're not judging those situations at all, or not allowing those people to come in or anything like that. But just trying to reduce the amount of people in the store to better socially distance, because this in the grocery store is one of, and when you're out in the pharmacy, those are hard places to socially distance, when those are some of the only places people can go. So I went on a tangent there. So
no, it's a much different environment, being in a grocery store now. I think when I went for the first time in a few weeks, and I went 2-3 weeks ago, it was very different. So
yeah.
we're all kind of getting used to that. One thing though you brought up just before was some of those newer, or maybe you've done them for a while, but more high demand now services, which are pickup orders, where your staff is having to put orders together for people, or the deliveries. So what kind of changes did you guys have to make there to try to accommodate the need?
Yeah. So we've had to divert staff, and in doing that, we've had to close down some different areas of the stores, in order to divert staff and train staff into some of those higher demand areas. So for us, those areas have been, cashiering, because we need to get people out, and we need to have enough people to not have too many people in line and not be able to socially distance. So that's been really important, that front end area. Sanitizing, and we can talk about that. So that's been a high priority. People needed to be shuffled into that. And then also the on the go delivery. So shuffling people and getting people trained in that area so that we're able to open up more delivery slots and more pickup slots. That's really, really been a struggle for us. We've been working on getting more team members trained. We have people in floral, people who are usually in cafe, people are usually managers of other departments, all being diverted, and trained into shopping and our delivery services. And it's been really hard, because demand for delivery everywhere. It has been really difficult. Slots are filled out for 2 weeks in advance. People were having to get in and log into online delivery sites all over at like midnight or like when the new slots opened up. So people would be emailing and calling like, hey, how do I get a slot? They're always locked up and stuff like that. And it's just because of the high demand. And so what we've also tried to do too is, because we would get calls of, I'm disabled, I'm not able to leave my home, I don't have anybody to shop for me, this is my only option. Those heartbreaking calls. So we've also asked people on our delivery site too to, if you're able, please choose pickup, so that we can leave the slots open for people who have no other option. So, and even in some cases, our store directors have just said, okay, give me your list, and I'll shop it for you. Because I mean, hearing that's just absolutely heartbreaking that somebody is going to go without and they have no other option. So really been diverting staff to try to open up more availability in those areas. We've also, delivery was only available at we only had it in our Hilldale location internally. We did have Instacart delivery at our Wauwatosa location and our other Madison location. But they too have seen just increased demand, that there's been slots not even available on their sites as well. So we've also opened up and started internal, at least curbside pickup in both those locations too. Or not totally yet, we're working on it. So if you're watching this now and saying, great, I could go pick up my stuff at West, not yet. We're literally hiring staff and training staff internally right now to do those services, because I can't see the demand for those types of things decreasing once everybody's kind of gotten a taste of online delivery. Everyone's kind of been thrown into it. So
right.
Yeah.
So just Stephen, to be a little more helpful for customers looking into those services, what kind of advice, what kind of best practices can you give them at this time because of that high demand and because you guys are doing your best?
Yeah.
What can make it easier for them?
So some things that we're asking is sometimes people put huge, like $1,000 orders in. It ends up taking up like 3 different time slots when they're that large. So sort of some of that, like in the store hoarding has almost moved online in some cases. Not all the time, but so we're asking people to try and keep those limits. I forget the amount, but just try and keep it under a certain amount. We also still have some items limited to 2 in the store. So even if people are online shopping and adding, 4 or 5 of something, the shopper is still going to do those limits. So just knowing those limits are still in effect. If you're able to do curbside pickup, we do have touch free. Open your trunk and we'll put it right in. So if you're able, please choose that to allow delivery for those who aren't able to leave their homes, physically unable to leave their homes. So how ours works in particular, and how a lot of people's works, is new slots are opened up daily, typically late at night, early in the morning. So that's kind of the time to check in for those slots. So if you're able to come into the stores, we also have like I talked about, the shopping hour for those who are high risk. Just, if you're able to do that, great. If that's not an option for you, we do have pickup and then obviously delivery too. So
early in our talk today, you mentioned a lot of local, there you are with the Purell, a lot of local items.
Yeah, actually, I have my local item here. Double green hand sanitizer. These guys are awesome. They actually made this batch for us when we were out of everything and said, hey, we got it coming. We're delivering it for you. And so.
Free plug. That's fantastic. Yeah. So But no, what I wanted to ask you, if you could share with people, you mentioned some of the local items that are well stocked currently. But what, so if someone's looking for items, what are some of the things that are currently plentiful at this point?
So eggs has been one of those things that's um, people are a little nervous about. Our local stock of eggs has no, we've had no problem. We've had some issues with getting the national brands in. We'll get some in, but maybe not everything we ordered, but all of the local stuff is coming in. A lot of things in dairy, all of our local milk providers, we got plenty of milk. Um, I'm trying to think of some other things. Yeah, our local Rebel Greens local, so they've given us sanitizer. I forget the name, and I'm so sorry, but we also had a local distillery who, instead of making vodka, they made hand sanitizer. And so we had a bunch of that when we don't have any Purell and things like that. We did have, local companies being nimble, creative, and coming up with new products. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was great to see. I love seeing that. I heard, there's people looking for the same thing, for someone to step up locally and mass production and other things for people. So I
Yep.
know there's people out there. I talked with Chad of Chad's Design Build on
Yeah.
Monday, and he mentioned that to me. He said, "Hey, we gave our masks away. At some point, we're gonna want to restock, and if someone's making them locally, I'd be happy to buy them from them." So
Yeah.
if
Yep.
you're out there, think about those options, like what's needed now, what you can do to help, and in the process, you're improving your business or expanding your business or retooling it a little bit. So those opportunities are there. Amanda, I wanted to ask you about a couple other quick things. So you also are doing some other things right now for customers, and I know one's kind of this gift card opportunity with local businesses. So tell us a little bit about that, what you're doing with gift
Yeah.
cards.
Yeah. So that's all, it's all online on shopmetcalfes.com. Right now, the one that we're running goes through the 19th. So there's still some time to get in there. We've worked with a lot of local restaurant organizations to, a few restaurant organizations to have gift cards for different local restaurants available in $25 allotments. And with every local gift card that you buy, you will get a Metcalfe's. I believe it's like a coupon for $20 off a $100 purchase. So basically 20% off, which is our employee discount. So welcome to welcome to being an employee, kind of. And so you can get up to 4 of those. So, I mean, it's a win-win. You support local and you're able to use these gift cards once these places open, and we're all able to go outside again and, sit with our friends. And then, you're able to have $20 off your groceries when you're shopping. So win-win. And we're gonna start a second round. I forget the date, but once the first round's over on the 19th, we're starting a second round, and we'll be highlighting some local businesses, hoping to work with Dane by Local and some other local merchants. So yeah, watch for that.
That sounds fantastic. That sounds great.
Yep.
It brings me to my next part, which is all about being a local business, being a family-owned business. Metcalfe's has been a Dane by Local member for a long time. We appreciate you being involved in everything you do in the community. You're on the board. I mean, very involved in the organization. But as a local business, when you saw some of these challenges happening and people looking for guidance and what to do and what not to do, how important was it to you as a local business and your family to say, look, we want to take care of our people and we want to help lead the way on this and work with other grocers, like you talked about, collaborating and seeing what other people were doing? How important, what did that mean to you and your family to be able to do that?
Everything. It means everything. It's why you wake up. It's why you go to work. It's why we've been working almost every single day since this thing has happened. Because and my dad said to our staff when this first started is, you guys are vital to your communities. Um, your health is vital. You need to take care of yourselves at home, at work, because we're providing a vital service to our community. And so our priorities shifted to sanitation of our stores, of what we're doing, procedure wise, and what our employees are doing, and reminding them about proper hygiene and at work and at home. So that became number one priority, absolutely first, before anything else. The second was the social distancing to, help create and reduce the spread. So create that distancing in all of our operations, and that has guided a lot of the different changes and closings and signage and procedures. Those two things have guided pretty much all our decisions. And just trying to keep everybody safe and doing everything that we can to get through this. So yeah, it's everything.
Well, I mean, you don't stay in business that long, that many generations without really caring about it and really caring about what you're doing, but then also what that means to the community and your customers. And I think you guys have shown that, and I applaud you for all of it. Really, it's been remarkable. Not surprising because I know you and I know your dad a little bit and the example you guys have set for such a long time, but still very impressive to see you step up the way you have. And we appreciate it, like I said. So thanks for taking a little time today for us to give us a little perspective, inside look as to what's going on behind there when all of us just kind of go out and get our food or pick it up or order it online and it's there for us. There's a whole lot of great work going on behind the scenes, and it's taken a lot of hours and a lot of smart people and a lot of time to keep it safe and keep it available for us, and we appreciate that.
We are very, very lucky to have um, the leadership that we do, the leadership team that we have, the team that we have. I mean, just the execution. I can't say enough. We've called them supermarket superheroes because that is exactly what they are. And if you're in our stores, you'll see their shirts. We've given them new uniforms for their superhero status to match what they've been doing. And the love, I mean, that we've heard through social media channels, from people shopping in the stores, emails that we've been getting. I mean, that just, it warms our hearts to be able to do those, be that place for people during such a crazy time. So keep the love coming. We love hearing it. It keeps us going. So yeah.
All right, Amanda, I know you've got a little one there to look after. You've got plenty to do. So I'll let you go for today. But thanks so much for being on, telling people about Metcalfe's and what grocery stores are doing.
Yeah, thanks. Bye, guys.
All right. I'm going to sign off. What I do want to tell you is that Friday we'll be back on for another chat at noon with Jackson and Steph of today's Q106. We'll hear a little bit about local radio's responsibility during this time and what they're trying to do to help our community get through this coronavirus COVID-19 epidemic. I will see you on Friday. Check out the Dane by Local Community channel. Subscribe if you haven't yet, all that good stuff. And check out Metcalfe's, please, because they're awesome. So take care.
Okay. See
Be
ya.
safe, everybody. Bye, Amanda. We'll see you later.
Bye.